Silver is soaring by 4% despite billions in sell orders flooding the market. You're being told it's collapsing. Here's why that's a lie. Behind the chaos, a massive $7 billion forced sell-off is happening, but silver is still climbing. Why? Because this isn't about weak demand. It's about something much bigger, and you need to know the truth. January 15th is the tipping point, and if you're not prepared, you might miss the biggest opportunity in silver in years. Keep watching to understand why this is all a setup for a market shift you won't see coming. So, what's really happening here? The headlines are everywhere saying silver's about to crash. But here's the thing, this isn't a normal market decline. Right now, a massive $7 billion in forced selling is taking place behind the scenes, and it's not coming from retail investors or hedge funds panicking. It's coming from index funds, which are legally bound to dump their silver holdings by January 15th. It's all due to one thing, a rebalancing event that most people don't even know about. But what's crazy is this sell-off is happening in the paper markets, while physical silver is actually holding its ground. So what does that tell us about the future of silver? And more importantly, what's the real risk to you in all this? Keep watching because the story isn't what you've been told. You might be wondering, why should you care about a rebalancing event that most people can't even see? Well, let me tell you exactly why. This forced sell-off isn't just a minor blip. It's a $7 billion tidal wave hitting the market. And here's the kicker. Despite billions in sell orders flooding in, silver is outperforming gold by a factor of 5 today. Let that sink in. Billions are being sold off, and silver is still climbing. This tells us one thing. The physical buyers are absorbing this sell-off, but why are they so confident? Because they know something most retail investors don't. Once this forced selling ends, the market's going to snap back. But the real question is, how long until it does? And how can you position yourself for that recovery? Stick around because I'll show you exactly what to watch for in the next few days. Now, here's where it gets even more interesting. The situation is escalating fast. Imagine this. A major commodity index is slashing silver's weight from 9.6% down to 3.94%. That's a huge cut, more than half. And here's the kicker. It's not a suggestion, it's a mandate. Every fund that tracks this index is legally required to sell, no matter what. This is the kind of event that shakes the foundation of the market. And it's not the first time we've seen something like this. History has shown us what happens when forced selling overwhelms the natural market forces. Prices drop. But here's the catch. Once that forced selling stops, the rebound can be explosive. This isn't just a price correction, it's a temporary disruption. The question is, how long will it last and when will the rebound hit? Keep watching because the next few days are going to be critical. This is where the evidence starts piling up. What we're seeing now is far from ordinary. The forced selling is ramping up, and the markets are showing signs of deep dysfunction. The index rebalancing isn't just hitting silver, it's causing an artificial inflation of the gold to silver ratio. And here's the thing, gold is not facing the same sell-off pressure. Silver is being targeted. The result? A distorted price gap, pushing silver to an unsustainable low, while the real demand for physical silver remains strong. The contradiction here is undeniable. Billions in sell orders are flooding the market, but silver is still holding its ground. When this selling pressure ends, the rebound won't just be a small bounce, it could be massive. And here's why that matters to you. If you're on the wrong side of this trade, you could miss out on a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. But if you're patient, the rewards could be huge. The pressure is mounting fast and it's only getting worse. And in the last few hours alone, we've seen a cascade of developments that are stacking on top of each other. The index funds are selling, the market makers are pulling their bids, and the physical buyers are stepping in, ready to scoop up whatever's left. It's chaos, and in the middle of all of it, the price of silver is still rising, but it's not over yet. This is just the beginning of the storm. What happens if this continues? The market could be left scrambling with no liquidity to support the sell-off, and the price could plummet even further before it recovers. But the key thing to understand is this. When the forced selling finally stops, the recovery could be swift and violent, but only if you know how to spot the signals and act before the crowd does. Now, let's bring this closer to home. What does this mean for you? Right now, most people are glued to the headlines, watching silver's price drop, thinking it's the end of the bull market. But For the average person, this is about more than just numbers on a screen. It's about real consequences. If you're holding silver or thinking about buying, your moves over the next few days could define your financial future. Don't let the fear take over. It's easy to panic when you see volatility, but the smart money, the patient money, is waiting for the signal to act. The question is, are you going to let fear make your decisions, or are you going to think like the institutions that are playing this game? If this feels familiar, say so in the comments, because this is the moment where ordinary people make their move or miss the boat entirely. Let's take a step back and look at the system behind this chaos. It's not just random. There's a mechanism at work here, the rebalancing process, the forced selling. It's all driven by incentives. Big index funds are legally bound to follow strict rules, no matter what's happening in the market. They don't get to choose when they sell. And here's the unsettling part. These rules are creating inefficiencies, gaps in the market that are being exploited by savvy players. It's a spectacle designed by system rules, and it's happening right in front of us. But what's truly chilling is that most people are completely oblivious to it. The headlines don't explain this. Mainstream media won't talk about it. But this event isn't just about silver. It's a clear example of how powerful players can manipulate entire markets with legal frameworks, with little regard for the impact on individual investors. Understanding this mechanism gives you the upper hand. So what happens after January 15th? There are two possible paths here, and the uncertainty makes it even more interesting. One scenario, the forced selling wraps up and the market snaps back, prices rebound, physical buyers flood in, and silver begins to realign with its fundamental value. That's the best case scenario. But there's another path, one that's less certain. What if the market continues to slide even after the forced selling is done? What if the physical market isn't as tight as we think? The momentum is building, but until January 15th hits, we can't be sure. But here's the key. After that date, the structure of the market shifts. The $7 billion in forced selling disappears. The question is, who will be left holding the bag, and who will benefit from this shift? The next few days will determine the answer. The game is still in play. Let me leave you with one final thought. The market you're watching right now isn't the one you think it is. The $7 billion sell-off, the panic, the headlines, all of it is just noise. And the real story is in the physical market, and that's where the true opportunity lies. Once the forced selling ends on January 15th, the dynamics will shift, and when they do, the market could go in one of two directions: a sharp rebound or continued pressure. But here's the thing nobody's talking about. When this market snaps back, it could do so faster than anyone expects. You won't hear about it until it's too late. So stay ahead of the curve, watch the signals, stay disciplined, and be ready to act when the market gives you the signal. Because the next move isn't just about silver, it's about understanding how these systems work. Follow for more updates, and I'll see you in the next one.